Chapter 7th, Hope. My grandmother's name was Nadezhda. She was born on the eve of the war in a family where there were 10 children and 4 sisters survived. The rest were taken by hunger, disease, and what at the time was not considered catastrophe, but simply life. From the age of 9, she rolled heavy stones for the railroad, barefoot because there were no shoes. Stocky, sturdy, with heavy hands and a voice that made even grown men at the market flinch. I knew her only this way: a thunder woman, a force of nature, a woman who could scream at anyone, fight a man, make a scene, hold down 3 jobs, trade at the market, and survive a life in which tenderness was considered an almost deadly luxury. From her childhood, she took one rule that became her spine, her religion, and her only language. Weakness kills. Feelings are a luxury. Tenderness is danger. If you are not tougher than the world will crush you. This was not her theory. She didn't say it in beautiful words. She just lived that way. She checked the cleanliness of the corners of her children's rooms with a cotton ball so that not a speck of dust remained. My mother and Oleg scrubbed the apartment spotless and fried trubachki, rolled wafer pastries for her when she came home from work. Not because they were sweet kids, but because otherwise hell could break loose at home. They often told me later how lucky I was that my grandmother didn't check my cleanliness with a cotton ball, and that my life was easy. When I later read Petronovsky's article on intergenerational trauma, about how wars and famine pass down not only poverty, but the very atmosphere of existence, I didn't need to fill in the gaps. That fear lived in the house before I ever appeared in it. Don't trust, don't relax, endure. It was transmitted not through words, through how you're picked up or not picked up, through how crying is answered or not answered. My grandmother received it from her mother, passed it to my mother to me. My mind learned to survive before it learned to live. It learned to read mood by footsteps, by the sound of a bag set down at the door, by how a person entered the house and what their first word was. It watched not what the adults said, but what radiated from them. This is where Rabbit was born inside me. Hears danger before it happens, doesn't relax, lives 1 second ahead of reality. And my grandmother was also terrified that I would grow up like my mother, that I would become weak, loose, drunk, lost, that I would die under a fence. Her words to me as an 8-year-old girl, "You'll die under a fence like your mother," were not malice. It was her own horror turned inside out. She didn't know how to praise because in her world praise makes you relax, and relaxing is not allowed. If the child is obedient, the house is clean. Everything is under control. It means the world hasn't fallen apart yet. Let go, and everything collapses. She gave what she had, and what she mostly had was fear. And she also had a curse, or rather she herself was the curse. For those she loved, she cursed my mother, Oleg, me, said words, and the words came true. My mother died at 42. Oleg, beaten to death while drunk. I grew up feeling that my number was next, that the number 42 was written somewhere inside me and there was no erasing it.